Well, here we are. 1.6 is finally out and I just want to do a completely traditional, casual playthrough. The only goal is I want to do absolutely everything. I'm not calling this a perfection run because I'm doing things outside of perfection, such as getting all of the achievements and filling up this new menu that includes things like the new book powers. Of course, we will also be getting perfection. Here's Sal. He's on the blue farm, an homage to the new type of tree. And my favorite thing is trains, because a lot of this playthrough was recorded while I was riding on a train. Of course, we're playing on the brand new meadow farm. It comes packaged with a coop and 2 chickens. During this playthrough, I'd like to focus on animals a lot more than I usually do, as opposed to crops. This playstyle will be supported by all of the blue grass around the Meadowland farm, which gives double the friendship when eaten as opposed to normal grass. And it's really pushing you towards this. Our getting started mission is no longer harvest a parsnip, it's harvest an egg. And those 15 free parsnips you get at the beginning of the game, now it's 15 free hay. Despite this, I do still want to have some crops, so I clear out the field, and I go to the store to buy mostly potatoes with the 500 gold I started out with, while of course introducing myself to the town. I'm not really decided who I want to romance yet, we'll figure that out as we go on. I'm also doing the traditional day 1 forage hunt, and during that, while I'm in Cindersap Forest, I found some suspicious, very large trees. Those were definitely not there before. I plant the potatoes and all of the mixed seeds we've found. And that's pretty much day 1. Watering my crops on day 2 presents an issue. I ran out of water in my pail. Not a big deal, right? There's a pond nearby. No, not on this farm. The closest source of water is the river all the way past my coop. That's an issue unique to this farm. Since it's day 2, of course we get the fishing rod. I'm not interested in pushing to hit level 10 in this first spring so that I can catch the legend. However, I am interested in trying out a lot of the new features added to fishing, so I'm going to push for that a little bit. And also, yes, I'm playing with controller. I thought I'd give it a try just to see how it is, and it's pretty nice. It's very relaxing compared to playing on mouse and keyboard like I usually do. I fished until I hit level 1 fishing, and God bless, you can see when you level up because a pop-up comes up that says you've got some new ideas to sleep on. That is such a nice quality of life feature. I also see the fish smoker recipe being sold at Willie's shop. I want that. The next couple of days consist of a lot of hunting for forageables and fishing. Speaking of, my first achievement was the Fisherman achievement for catching 10 different types of fish. It's a little easier than usual because there's now these sea jellies that act as trash items that you can fish up now. One for saltwater, one for freshwater, and one for the caves, which I haven't been able to get to yet. By the end of day 4, I've managed to get a piece of copper from one of the treasure chests while fishing. I earned enough money to buy the rest of the crops I'll need for the spring crops bundle, and I've reached level 2 foraging and level 3 fishing. The 5th of spring is always a busy day. We finally get access to the community center and the mines opens up. So I go and check on one of the bundles just to see that I can't read it yet, and then we head up into the mines. While working my way down, I did manage to get 1 level up, and I did randomize the mine chests. So out of our first chest, we got a wooden blade instead of boots. I'll take it. And lucky me, I got a small glow ring out of a barrel. Not super important, but it'll make nighttime a bit easier to look at. I tapped out on floor 16 with 55 copper to show for it. Not too bad. So I crafted a few furnaces and had them work overnight. Surprisingly, I got level 1 in both mining and combat, so it seems like you only get 1 level up notification per day. I've got some of the mixed seeds I planted ready for harvest, plus the brand new carrot crop. This gets me up to level 1 farming. I just toss them all into the shipping bin to fill out the ship list. The wizard invited us to drink a potion so we could understand the Junimo language, and we do so, no questions asked. I grab the 4 spring forageables we've collected up to this point and head on up to the community center. And I forgot to mention, I also randomized the community center bundles, and since I ate all of my spring onions last night in the mines, I can't complete the spring foraging bundle. All of the other bundles here look the same except for the winter foraging bundle, which now requires holly. I've heard that some of the remixed bundles include the new items introduced in 1.6, and I wonder if we'll get to see any of them. Lucky for me, when I went back and checked, I did leave myself 1 spring onion in storage. So I complete the spring bundle. I take this opportunity to take a sneak peek at some of the other bundles we just unlocked. Some crop bundles got swapped around, now including the new forage crops. And I have a garden bundle, where I need 4 of the 5 given flowers. And somehow my fish bundles all came out vanilla. I go and donate my first 3 items to the museum. I'll need to complete this both for the achievement and for the star drop. And then I go and talk to Jody, and now I've officially met everyone in the valley. I spend the rest of the day fishing at a bubble spot I can just barely reach in the lake. And I got to level 3 fishing from it. I planted some rice on the far side of the farm, and the crop fairy got them. All right, all of those potatoes we planted are ready today. And I just barely have enough money for the backpack upgrade. It leaves me completely broke. It's been a while since I've played the early game without having clay farming, so money is a little rough. Catfish from a trash can. To rebuild my money a bit, I spend the 300 wood to reach the tide pools, and I sell all the coral I find. Also, for every couple of fish we catch, we can now change the style of our bobber in Willie's shop. I choose to move on to a pink one. And I do a little bit of ocean fishing while I'm here. It is Lewis's birthday, so I give him a leftover parsnip, and I spend the rest of the day just talking around. I'm usually pretty bad at building relationships, so it'll be a bit more of a focus this time. Skeletal hand. I'm starting to get a lot of items, so I've implemented the gift chest. This is where any geodes, gifts, or items that need to be donated go. It'll help me stay organized. And thus concludes our first week. We're going to move a little bit faster now that you have an idea of our daily activities. We have quite a bit to go through after all. The next day was another mines day. We hit level 2 mining pretty quickly. On floor 20 we got the elf blade, which is normally unobtainable unless you have the remixed mines chests. It's alright, but I'm still so weak HP wise that it's too risky to start using daggers this early. I reached floor 30 and then I did something I normally wouldn't have done. I'm grinding out bugs for the bug slayer goal. And that's because the insect head got 2 different buffs in 1.6. First, it now only takes 80 bugs, and the damage was increased from 10 to 20 to 20 to 30. Mind you, that's about 4 times as much damage as our current weapons do. That, and it still has +2 speed and crit chance. I'm playing a little risky, but I do manage to reach the Slayer goal that night. The Adventurers Guild is already closed, so I'll have to come back for it another time. Petting my chickens has finally netted me my 2nd farming level up. I busted open a bunch of geodes and donated 9 more items to the museum, unlocking both cauliflower and melon seeds. And then I went to push the mines down to floor 40. Which is as deep as I can go comfortably without upgrading my pickaxe. The chest with the slingshot is not randomized like the other chests. The same will be true for the master slingshot and the star drop. I also forgot to grab the insect head, but we'll be able to use it next time. We got a rainy day, so I'm going to push my luck and try to catch some early catfish. Usually I'd wait until reaching level 5 fishing, but there's no reason not to try. And while I did hook a few, wasn't able to catch any. I did make just enough money to upgrade a tool though. And so we got our copper axe started. I hit level 4 fishing and unlocked the new deluxe bait, as well as the buffed worm bin. Looks like the deluxe bait needs moss though, and we haven't been able to find any up to this point. Spring 11th is now a very important day in 1.6, as it's the first day that the bookseller comes to town. Unfortunately though, I have like no money, so I have to scramble to get a bit before visiting. And that's how I found out that you really gotta save up some money before this. Everything was several thousand gold, with the cheapest thing being 3,000. All very cool bonuses though, speed buffs, experience, and seeing the price of items in your inventory. Can't wait to get them. I catch a chub to complete a help wanted quest for Willie. These help wanted quests, by the way, are going to be very important, since after doing 3 of them we unlock a ticket, and that was my 2nd one. I also have to do at least 40 of them for an achievement. I donate a carrot and a potato to the spring crops bundle and some wood and stone to the construction bundle. I've been saving up a lot of the fish I've caught, and I'll donate them some other time. Our copper axe is finally ready. Now that we can cut stumps, I focus on getting the rest of the resources to complete the construction bundle. By 3 PM I have everything, unlocking the boiler room bundles. At a glance, all that's new here is the treasure hunter bundle replacing the adventurers bundle, and I won't complain about that. I dump all of the fish I've caught into bundles and then get a head start on some of the boiler room bundles from what I found in the first few trips in the mines. Egg hunt day. As always, I go for the gold, and I get it. This marks the first hat acquisition. Not the one we'll be sticking to, but it's welcome nonetheless. I also grabbed some strawberry seeds, of course. They're the best seed for spring. The green bean has grown, so I donate it to the spring crops bundle, leaving only the cauliflower left. I decided my next big purchase is going to be the fiberglass rod. Fish tend to be my go-to moneymaker this early on, so I'll make the money back quickly. And on that note, I spend a good portion of the rest of the day fishing. I managed to not only hit level 5 fishing, where I chose Fisher, but level 6 as well, which introduces the brand new bait maker and sonar bobber. Because I need instant gratification, I immediately sell all of the fish I've been stockpiling up to this point, now that they'll sell for 25% more thanks to the Fisher profession. I also use this moment to test if the new sea jellies will be affected by Fisher. They sell for a good amount on their own. And then I go to catch some fish from the mines lake. From all of those fish, I made a decent 7,000 gold. Unfortunately, those sea jellies don't get the Fisher bonus, so they're much better off just being used as crafting materials. That money gave us our first money achievement for making 15,000 gold. We complete another help wanted quest for Jody, and since this is our third, we get our very first ticket. We head into Lewis's house and he gives us a rundown on the brand new ticket machine. The idea is to incentivize people to help out around town with the promise of rewards. A very neat idea. I'll take my 12 carrot seeds in pride. Today was also the day our cauliflower grew, so we donate it to finally finish the spring crops bundle and unlock the bulletin board bundles. Alright, what's the damage? Looks like we have a brand new bundle called the Helpers Bundle, which needs 1 ticket and 5 mystery boxes, which we haven't seen up to this point. And the only other change here is that we need an iridium bar instead of a red cabbage. Honestly, good. And now it's time to start divvying up all the money we made. First, we're upgrading our pickaxe to copper. There's no need to buy any more seeds since I just got all these carrots from the ticket machine. But would you look at that, I have enough money to get a barn. Just need to grind out some wood for it. And by reaching level 4 foraging, we get a brand new mushroom log recipe. I really like how early we unlock some of the new stuff. Not that I have the items to craft them. Spring 17th was the first of many zone out days. I walk around, talk to people as I see them, give some gifts, grab the forage, catch a few fish, and cut a few trees. That's really all I can do before my pickaxe finishes upgrading. I do have a lot of money that needs to be spent though, so I start building a barn. Picking salmon berries keeps me busy for a few days. Usually I'm one to make use of the trick where you exit the game and then reload it so that the berry bushes are filled more, but that was actually removed in 1.6, so I'm really focusing on making sure I get enough this time. Finally, I have my pickaxe back, so we head back into the mines. And I gotta say, the ice floors feel so good with the new and improved insect head. 20 to 30 damage is nuts for this early on. On floor 50, I finally get my first pair of shoes, the combat boots, and I call it on floor 55, mostly because my inventory is getting full. Now that we have iron, we gotta start smelting it. The barn is finished, so I'm gonna clear out some of the areas around the blue grass, so hopefully they start to spread more. We have a bit more money left over, which I'll use to buy some of the recipes from Robin. Eventually we'll have to craft them all. It was pretty slow going, so we stop after only 5 floors, getting the iron edge from the chest. Nowhere near as good as our insect head. Third museum donation trip, it's another 8 items, and that's 20 total. Bought a cow. Ladies and gentlemen, today was the day. While I was fishing, I found our very first book, The Jewel of the Sea, which gives fishing treasure chests a chance to hold the row of fish you caught, which yes, for the first time ever, you can now get the row of legendary fish. We've made 25,000 gold total, so Demetrius visits us to set up our farm cave. So while I believe fruit bats would probably benefit us more in the long run, along with the mushroom cave getting a little bit of a nerf, I'm interested in the free dehydrator you now get with the mushroom cave. So I choose that. First set of straws are ready. That stands for strawberries, but I shortened it so it's cool. Got a few fish to donate, as well as a gem and a bar for the boiler room. And today is the second bookseller day. There's 2 a season. And even though I barely have enough for the book that shows the sale prices of things in your inventory, I'm not ready to give that much up for it yet. I have no idea how the dehydrator works, so we'll try it out with 5 salmon berries. And it's about that time. We're setting up basic pathing to all of the important spots of our farm, both to prevent any debris from piling up and for the slight movement speed buff. Next day, our dried salmon berries are ready. We'll be selling them to see how it does. We get the steel pickaxe started. During all of our gifting, Carolyn has always been the priority, and it's finally paid off with the tea sapling recipe. We'll get that in the mail tomorrow. While I was cutting a tree, I got yet another book, and I didn't even realize it until 5 minutes later. It apparently makes trees have a 5% chance to have double wood. Interesting effect. I did hit level 5 foraging, and I go with Gatherer. I've cut down a ton of trees so far, so I'm good on wood. Also, the salmon berries sold for 62 gold, a little more than a 50% increase from the original sale price. So I'm once again doing something I wouldn't have done in 1.5. I'm planting my tea saplings. So the raw sell price of them was decreased by half, But when you break planted tea bushes, you get the tea sapling back. So the plan is to grow some tea and then break it and sell everything. And we should make more than we made before if we only sold the tea sapling. It's dance day. I choose to save my money and not buy the tub of flowers recipe yet. And unfortunately I didn't hit 4 hearts with anyone, so I just watched the dance. I have a huge harvest of potatoes ready, which is important because they're one of the crops in my quality crops bundle. With that, everything we need from spring specifically is done. The steel pickaxe is ready, which once again, yes, means back to the mines. Not to go deeper this time though. I actually need more copper since I blitzed through the first 40 floors so quick. And lo and behold, yet another book. This one gives monsters a small chance to drop double loot. Upon looking it up, I found this is a 3% boost, which is pretty nice. I do dig deeper down to floor 65 after getting about 30 copper. On our way out, I donate an earth crystal to the bundles. Boiler room is pretty close to being done completely. Ticket number 2 has been acquired, plus another 5 floors in the mines, netting us the master slingshot. And 5 floors barely squeezed out after that. We got a bone sword drop from one of the skeletons, and as much as I don't want to say goodbye to the insect head, it's time. It has the same damage stat, but a slightly higher speed stat. Wait, a mystery box drop? It seems like we'll be able to find them around the valley now. I wasn't actually sure what set off that cutscene, if it was dependent on the day or what, so I looked it up, and turns out it was from collecting my second prize ticket. Now that that's happened, I actually knew that this existed before, from when I ran around exploring the 1.6 update right after release. There's a little box right behind where the bookseller usually is that contains yet another ticket. Even though I do need one for the helper bundle, I go ahead and use both on the ticket machine since I'll need to find 5 mystery boxes for that bundle anyway. We got a fruit tree sapling and some new mixed flower seeds, which work like regular mixed seeds, but now with flowers. Wake up, it's milking time. I decided to get just a little deeper into the mines. I reached floor 80 and got, the Templar's Blade. Just absolute dog water weapon. Only weapon in the entire game with a 0% crit chance. I'll keep saying it, if this weapon has no haters, I am dead. It's not even better than the bone sword or the insect head that we already got rid of. Funny though, just a minute later I got a tempered broadsword from a crate, and it had 2 innate enchantments, yet another new mechanic. It got a slight extra crit chance, plus Slime Gatherer, which I'm assuming makes slimes drop more slime. It's the final day of spring, but there's no rush because we've already done everything I set out to do this season. Kinda sad I didn't go for the legend though, because we got rain on the very last day of spring. Would've been good. We have a huge community center trip donating some flowers I've been holding on to, mushrooms we got from the mushroom cave, and floor 80 plus loot from the last trip into the mines. And this unlocks the final set of bundles, the vault, which don't get remixed. I've raised 10,000 gold, and so I'm going to make one of the most important purchases of this entire run. I'm buying the fish smoker recipe. With the right setup, this could make us oodles of money. That's a little while off though. And now we'll just do some chill fishing to end off the season. Summer begins with us immediately getting another book power. Jack be nimble, Jack be thick? Can't put that in a kid's game. It gives 1 point of defense. We do the usual for the beginning of a season, buying a bunch of seeds, mostly blueberries for profit, and we get the farm setup, which takes most of the day. And I have the last few gems I need for the treasure hunter bundle, which fully completes the boiler room, unlocking the minecarts. It's time for the start of season chores, gathering the new forageables, which we turn in and complete, catching new summer fish, and going for the ice pit, the hardest fish we've caught so far. I'd like to focus on hitting the bottom of the mine soon, since I usually like starting Skull Cavern runs in late summer. On floor 90, we got the bone sword. Not very good at this point. And we managed to push to floor 100, earning our first of 7 star drops. That's a huge milestone. After a few harvests of our mushroom cave, we've just about got the exotic foraging bundle finished. Pushing down to floor 100 of the mines earned us tons of geodes, netting us 4 more items to donate to the museum. It's really starting to slow down now for sure. Time to continue the mines dive. On floor 109, I found an immunity ring. Not the most useful thing, but it's neat to have. And on floor 110, we got our second pair of shoes from the chest, the crystal shoes, and that's the last of all the remixed mines chests. We'll leave the end of the mines for later. I did reach level 5 combat, and I choose fighter. I really want to clutch out the mines early, so I get right back to it the next day, and by 5 PM we reach the bottom, obtaining the skull key. We'll be back a lot for things like ore and the slayer goals though. I spend the rest of the day catching summerfish from the ocean. Now that the mines are done, things are going to start to slow down. We're tending crops, gathering materials, smelting all of that gold, all in preparation for our next big set of upgrades. Our next quest for a ticket has appeared, just gather some stone, and that's the ticket. I take this opportunity to go ahead and build our silo too, upgrading our axe once again, and I complete a simple fish quest for Demetrius, marking our 10th help wanted quest, giving us the gopher achievement. Just 30 more to go. From reaching floor 120 of the mines, we have the mining level to build lightning rods now, and I build a couple to prepare for repairing the boat early. And since the mines are done, it's time to start one of the most important grinds of any playthrough, the Dust Sprite Slayer goal for the Burglar's Ring, which doubles loot from all monsters. It's still one of the wildest items in the game, even after 1.6. This won't be one trip though, we're going to be working on this for a while. 500 Dust Sprites is a lot. On the 9th, both the Summer Spangles and Sunflowers were ready, completing the Garden Bundle. The Steel Axe is ready, and again we have a million geodes to pop open, donating 8 more items, now at 38 total. And now that we have both the Steel Axe and Pickaxe, there's actually a new secret on the east side of Pelican Town for a book. The Alleyway Buffet gives us a slightly higher chance of finding items in trash cans. Also with the Steel Axe, we can finally reach the Secret Woods, since I swore off any kind of exploits for this run. Acquiring hardwood will be added on to the almost everyday chore list. And before leaving, we of course need to grab a wood skip. I also go around clearing hardwood off the farm, and I make a few donations to the Specialty Fish Bundle. On the 10th, we have our first harvest of batteries, giving us 5, which is enough already to repair the boat once the time comes. And while fishing with what is easily the best aesthetic bobber in the game, we get the best treasure in the game: 2 wood. While cutting down some trees on my farm, not only did I get our first mystery box of the playthrough, but I got the Stardew Valley Almanac as well. This is one of the books that doesn't actually fill out anything on your powers screen, it just gives you some experience. So for the luau, I want to try something. The result of the soup is based on both the sell price of your item and how much it heals when it's eaten. Based on those two numbers, almost any smoked fish should give the best result. So I'm testing a smoked flounder, and sure enough, the best result. So if you're not sure if you have anything good for the luau, there's your solution. This gives us 2 more achievements, one for the friendship gain, and a new achievement for getting the best result. Another stormy day. While we already have the 5 batteries we'll eventually need to fix the boat to Ginger Island, more are important, mostly for iridium sprinklers and crystallariums. Big get. I remember that the workbench exists. If you haven't used the workbench before, use it. It allows you to use all of the materials in nearby chests when crafting, which helps out the whole item shuffle every day. Our first blueberries are ready on the 14th, which were the last crop I needed for the Summer Crops bundle. And as another win, I go and buy the iridium rod. Fishing is a pretty big focus right now because with our fish smokers, the level 10 buff from Angler is going to go crazy. So we'll be doing a lot of fishing, during which we were able to finish the Lakefish bundle. And it's finally about time we get the second backpack upgrade, further making inventory management a little bit easier. That's often one of the biggest issues with perfection runs, by the way. You'll have to hoard so many items for later on in the game that you'll have multiple chests you're juggling between, and finding items can take a lot of time if you're not perfectly organized. So every bit helps. Later on, we complete our 12th Hope Wanted quest, netting yet another ticket, and I really don't need this one at the moment, so I'm gonna donate it to the Helpers bundle. And the reward for completing it is a Star Drop Tea. This is a new item. If you haven't seen it before, it gives a full heart when given to an NPC, or 3 hearts on their birthday. The important part though is that it ignores the 1 gift a day limit and the 2 gifts a week limit, which is huge. If you give someone both an Iridium loved gift and a Star Drop Tea on their birthday, that's an immediate 7 hearts. These items are super rare though, so we'll have to use them well. Next building to be built is the fish pond, mostly for the caviar later on when we unlock the missing bundle. More geodes, 6 more museum donations. The total donations now is 46. Out of habit, I went to the TV to check the weather. Another storm would be nice, but an anonymous reading? That sounds spooky. Well, that's kinda like rain, so let's go ahead and upgrade the watering can. And now I bite the bullet and get the lava eel. It's such a long wait through all of the trash, but there it is, and we won't have to catch another one. Waking up the next day, we have green rain? We're not able to check the TV at all. Outside, everything is super overgrown, and there's new clumps of grass that give us moss. There's a bunch of new mossy trees too, which drop mossy seeds, so I can have these trees whenever I want. All they do is increase the rate of moss that grows on nearby trees. Not good for much else. Funny enough, today was also a bookseller day. Unfortunately, I just spent all of my money both on the backpack upgrade and the iridium rod, so still no books. I found everyone huddled in the saloon worried about a bunch of different things. The fish, everyone else, God's wrath. It's actually really spooky, and a crazy tone shift from the rest of the game, although it's really cool to see how the villagers operate in a crisis situation. I spent quite literally all day getting as much fiber and moss as I can. This opportunity only comes once in a year. Popping open our first mystery box, speed grow. Just so you know, the items I pop out of these mystery boxes are never too fabulous. Nothing I ever need for any kind of progression, just some items that are kinda nice to have. While fishing, I managed to get yet another Jewel of the Sea book, and if you're wondering what it does now, it just gives 100 fishing experience, which is equivalent to catching 2 easy difficulty fish like chubs or bream with a perfect iridium catch. So, not a lot. I hit level 9 fishing that night, close to being able to use that huge money boost from level 10. All of that money we got, by the way, is from selling tea saplings, which still make crazy money even with the nerf. The next day marks the annual Trout Derby. Before I head to it, I get my big coop built, and I spend some money buying the first few vault bundles. It's troutin' time. This works as a great time to showcase the bait maker. The way this event works is that trout will have around a 33% chance to hold a golden ticket, and trading in a golden ticket will give us some rewards. That 33% can be super frustrating though, because you're not guaranteed to hook a rainbow trout in the first place. That's where the bait maker comes in. By putting in a fish, you get 5 to 10 bait that has a massively improved chance to hook the fish it was made with. What exactly that chance is depends on whatever fish it was originally, but with rainbow trout it seemed to be around a 95% chance, which is really nice. That made this entire event simple to complete. The bait maker is one of the best additions to fishing because it makes so many specific goals like this much more enjoyable. I got a couple of interesting items, a sprinkler, some mystery boxes, a crab pot. The only unique item was a new bucket hat, which was pretty neat. The next day it was raining, which gave me an idea. I have this bait maker now, so let's try to use it to make some money. I head to the secret woods and catch a catfish, and then I use the bait maker to try and catch as many as I possibly can, all day. Catfish not only sell for a lot of money, but also give a good amount of experience being one of the more difficult fish in the game, so we're knocking out 2 birds for the price of 1 here. The catfish catch rate was almost 100%. I caught 39 catfish and only 1 carp and wood skip each. As with all the other fish I've been catching, I won't sell them until I hit level 10 fishing. It's the last week of summer, so finally we get to harvest tea from the bushes we planted all the way back in spring. We'll harvest them every day for the next week and then sell them all at once to see our money skyrocket. Gotta grab an apple tree since I chose the mushroom cave, and it should be grown before the end of fall. I've started tapping trees, enabling us to complete the exotic foraging bundle. And we'll need oak resin to complete the enchanter's bundle. We have a couple of things to donate to the artisan bundle as well. 1 day of tea leaves earned us 2,300 gold, so we'll be getting that every day for the next week. And with that money, I finally buy the big chest recipe from Robin, and with the leftovers, our first gold upgrade for the pickaxe. So for the last few days, I've been spending a lot of time just standing around smoking my fish on my farm. I want to cut out a lot of that wait time, so from now on, while I fish, I'll be bringing the fish smoker and coal with me so that I can just smoke fish right after catching them. I pretty much just fished for the next 2 entire days until I finally got the notification for hitting level 10 fishing. And right after that, I hooked the legendary crimson fish. I've been hoarding so many smoked fish for this moment, and that night, of course, I chose the angler profession for the 50% boost to the fish sell prices. And then we start shoveling fish in. You may be wondering why all of this is a big deal, why I keep talking about it. So what smoking a fish does is it doubles the sell price. That and it retains its quality. So you still get the double price from it being iridium quality, and if you also have level 10 farming with the artisan profession, smoked fish get the bonus from that as well. But I'm not that patient. Regardless, these fish are gonna sell for a ton of money. Gold pickaxe is ready, we waste no time and get the copper trash can going. And now from all the fishing chests we got, we have 4 more items to donate to the museum. And now we can finish the ocean fishing bundle as well as the crab pot bundle. And as if this day couldn't get any better, propeller hat. From a tree. I've been jumping from hat to hat as I get them, but this is the one. It's always been in the game, by the way. It's just now you can find the ones you'd normally have to tailor in the wild. like from trees or monsters, and I really like that. Really makes me feel like I was meant to find this hat. Our chests are starting to struggle, so it's big chest time. Look at that. That's never gonna fill up. Nice. All right, here we go. $82,000 gold. The one smoked crimson fish on its own made 6,750 gold. Man, that feels good. And we still have the tea saplings to look forward to. First thing to use all that money, gotta buy the rest of the vault bundles, giving us access to the desert tomorrow. I went to upgrade another tool, but I forgot my trash can was still upgrading. Also, this is a few days after the update where you can now use the blacksmith while the tool is upgrading. Very cool. I also wanted to try something else. I heard that Evelyn now likes broken glasses of all things. And sure enough, she does. Apparently they're her old glasses that she lost. Next use of money, our first house upgrade, knocking off another 10,000 gold and earning us a kitchen. I don't really have any use for it yet, but we will need it eventually for perfection. I'd like to get more gold tool upgrades to spend our money on, but I need more gold, so that's what we spend our day on. Bus stop. And level 8 foraging, giving us the new tent kit recipe. Don't really have any uses for it now, but it might come in handy later. And almost right on time, another bookseller day. I buy the price catalog, letting us see the value of items in our inventory, and Way of the Wind Part 1, slightly increasing our movement speed. The final day of summer has arrived, which means it's time to cut down all of these tea bushes. Yes, I could leave them up for another month, but I think having the money from them sooner will help out better than money a month down the line. This is actually the same reason a lot of people consider the tea bush changes to be a heavy nerf, despite the fact that you can harvest and sell the bush itself for a larger profit in the long run. It's a trade-off for sure. I'm not sure which side I actually prefer. I'm also spending the time to properly set up the farm with quality sprinklers, so it won't be as much work tomorrow. And we see off summer with the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. A lot of people call this the most useless festival, but you can't deny that it's one of the best songs and visuals in the game. Tea saplings earned us another 20,000 gold that night. Back to work, time to set up the farm. I'm grabbing tons of yams since they're in our quality crops bundle and a bunch of cranberries for money, because they're the best for money. Fight me. And a couple of pumpkins just for fun. I also plant the rare seed bought from the traveling cart. Need it for a star drop. What a beautiful sight. A fully sprinkled farm. With fall, our special orders board has been built, and there's somewhere around 8 or so specific missions that we'll have to do from this for crafting recipes. So I was, busting open mystery boxes, and yeah, I got that Prizzy. That was a 0.4% chance. As for the board, I take the biome balance mission required for the farm computer recipe. I immediately head to the desert for the first time, hold the prismatic shard above my head, and stand in the middle of the 3 pillars for the galaxy sword. This is the best weapon we can access at the moment, so it'll be what we use from now on. While I'm here, I do just a little bit of foraging, and look at that, broccoli seeds. That's about it for now. I'm not really prepped for a skull cavern dive yet. I took some time to forage all the fall items and donated most of them. I just haven't found a hazelnut yet. The dye bundle is also almost done thanks to cactus fruit. Found a hazelnut and donated it, leaving just the winter foraging bundle in the crafts room. Time to do our monthly fishing, catching some of the new fall fish from the ocean and the river. And fall 4th is going to be the day of our first skull cavern dive. I still have to wait for Pam to get to the bus at 10 a.m. though. So while I'm waiting, I do a quick quest and get another ticket, giving us a bed. I'm also going to utilize the kitchen for the first time to make a maki roll and fried egg, both for the chef's bundle. And then we head to the desert. It's a little later than usual, but this isn't intended to be a super deep dive, we're just dipping our toes in. Starting our first skull cavern dive with the galaxy sword, by the way, wonderful. Usually I have to struggle with like the obsidian edge, so this is a nice change of pace. Early on I got a hole with the max amount of skipped floors, 15, so immediately this turned into a not half bad run. I found and defeated a dinosaur, no egg unfortunately, but they drop a bunch of skeletal artifacts that I still haven't collected yet. I'm getting quite a few decent holes, so I'm kinda zooming. Until I died from the damage of jumping down a hole. But wait, holes can't knock you out. So what's up? Turns out the nearby serpent hit me at the very last moment after I chose the option to jump, and it must have knocked me out. Unreal. And of course, the iridium ore I gathered was lost. It's only 8, but it's not nothing. Well, I did catch a tiger trout before I went to the desert, so now we can donate it to complete our river fish bundle. I also caught a sandfish in the desert, completing the specialty fish bundle. And all that leaves for the fish tank is the night fishing bundle. Wheat was ready today, we'll need that for the fodder bundle. When checking out the traveling cart, I noticed that a truffle was for sale for 1,875 gold. That saved me a lot of time and money from upgrading my barn and buying a pig, so I go for it. I do buy a duck though. Both duck eggs and feathers are useful for all sorts of things. And that truffle completes our chef bundle. I also donate the wheat while we're here. I've got to recover the iridium ore with Marlin's lost item service. It's only 100 gold per ore, so it's not too bad. Open up some geodes from the Skull Cavern trip, leading to just 2 more donations in the museum. That's 54 donations total, dangerously close to the 60 we need for the rusty key for the sewer. We don't immediately need the deluxe barn anymore, so I opt to get the deluxe coop going, mostly for the rabbit's foot we'll need for the community center. I spent some time fishing to raise yet more money, and very quickly I caught the angler. It is the easiest legendary fish after all. And that night, my first iridium bar finished melting, and I used that bar to complete the dye bundle. I spent some time fishing until I finally caught a walleye, which is the last fish we need to complete the last of the fish tank bundles, which will remove the glittering boulder tomorrow. The bookseller is back, but man is it so expensive. I'm still not willing to spend more. And I forgot that I need eggplants for the bundle. I'll buy the seeds now. For the next set of special board quests, neither gives us any crafting recipes, so I take the one for gathering hardwood, as it gives us an excuse to work on our forging level a bit. And before I forget, I briefly head to the mountains to grab the copper pan. Hitting level 8 farming has earned us kegs. I don't actually plan on using these too much. I want to focus on the other methods of making money that were added in 1.6. It's blackberry season. I'm not actually going to focus on it too much this year. I have plenty of money to buy food at this point if I need it. Although it is neat that you get experience from harvesting from bushes now. And we do bring Linus's berry basket back. So if you didn't know, the copper pan can finally be upgraded in 1.6 and I really want to try it out, so I'll be upgrading it as much as I can immediately. With our deluxe coop finished, I'll buy a rabbit. In addition to the rabbit's foot, it'll also make some wool for cloth since I don't have any sheep. We also had our first harvest of pumpkins today, leaving only the eggplant left for the fall crops bundle. Level 9 foraging, getting really close. I finished gathering all of the hardwood we needed for the special order, and honestly, I thought about maybe just keeping it all. But seeing how special orders actually give you a ticket every time you complete one, I turned it in anyway. It also contributes to the 40 quests we need to complete for the Gopher achievement. For that Friday's traveling cart, I grab a pomegranate tree, probably way later than I should have got it, but we can just plant it in the greenhouse once we unlock it. I grab the ticket from the special request and I use the 2 we've built up to get mushroom logs and a pomegranate tree. Well, our next reward is a big deal. I can see that it's a book power, I just don't know what kind. I set up the mushroom logs and I plant some pine trees around it. I don't plan on them being a major money maker, but it'll be cool just to test them out. I'm going to use a trick I learned recently. Might work, might not. I have some leftover winter roots that dropped in the ice floors of the mines. If I put them in the seed maker, I can get winter foraging seeds, which in turn can lead to me collecting the winter forageables before winter if I grow them in the greenhouse. It all comes down to if we get the greenhouse unlocked early enough to make use of it. We'll see. And my eggplants are ready today. Now it's just down to completing the quality crops and artisan bundles to finally obtain that greenhouse. I also have a ton of leftover yams from growing them for the quality crops bundles so they can be used as gifting items for a while. Vegetables are a universally liked item by everyone except for kids, so they're always a safe bet. Level 9 farming, so close. You may notice that I'm really trying to push for level 10 in all my skills, and there's a very important reason for that we'll go over later. I use the money I've built up from farming buying all of the crafting recipes from Robin's, and you no longer have to back out for each brazier type that you buy, which is nice. Steel pan is ready, I crack open a few geodes and donate 3 more items to the museum, and we'll also upgrade the last basic tool we have left, the hoe. I made the decision to buy another rabbit. I've had times where it's taken absolutely forever to get the rabbit's foot, even with a very happy rabbit, so I'm taking no chances. Y'all, it's about that time. We're preparing for the Skull Cavern once again. The luck is bad, but I'll still give it a try. Before we go though, the first set of mushroom log harvests is here. Interestingly, it seems like tree saplings still increase the amount of mushrooms you get, but they don't yet influence what type of mushroom is made. I used the mushrooms in the dehydrators. It seems right since you get 5 at a time. And it's Monday, which means another special order. I choose Gus's famous omelet since I have plenty of chickens for all of the eggs, and even though it's not required for a crafting recipe, that extra fridge will be super useful when it comes to knocking out all of the cooking recipes. And at 10 a.m., we head to the Skull Cavern. Not much goes on, we get plenty of crummy hole drops until another Prizzy from our first Skull Cavern chest. And from a dinosaur egg. Other than that though, our luck is still pretty rotten. So I bail on floor 20 at 5 p.m. Yeah, I only made it 20 floors in after 7 in-game hours. Youch. Got a cloth from a mummy though, which I can donate to our artisan bundle. Chin's up, it's the Stardew Valley Festival. As you may know, it's important because it has one of these star drops, but funny enough, it also has a ticket, and I want that too. I didn't have anything really all that amazing for the Grange display, but that prismatic shard really makes it come together. It does win us the contest, and good thing it did because I didn't realize there was a new achievement added for it. You know what happens next? Gambling, yay! It took a while, a long while, but I finally gambled enough money for both the star drop, our second one, and the ticket. We bring the ticket to the machine the next day and finally get that book. It says it helps you become friends with people a little faster. I actually looked it up and it's a 10% increase, which is huge. As a reference, that makes an Iridium loved gift given on someone's birthday give you over 4 hearts. Got my 5 gold corn today, completing the quality crops bundle. We only have 1 more item in the artisan bundle and we'll have the greenhouse. That'll probably be an apple from our apple tree. And even though we got the most important item from the ticket machine, I still have to do help wanted quests at least until we get the achievement for doing 40 of them. I have 3 items to donate to the museum from our short foray into the Skull Cavern, and that is exactly 60 items. We'll have something to look forward to tomorrow morning. Sure enough, we get the rusty key. We also got the last of the eggs we needed for Gus's omelet today. Next tool to upgrade, the pan to gold. Yes, I know I still haven't used it yet, but I really want to be amazed the first time I use it. I'm wasting no time, we're heading into the sewers and meeting our buddy Krobus. And as you may know, he sells a star drop for 20,000 gold, which I've made sure I always have on hand waiting for this moment. That's our 3rd one, quick after the 2nd. Something I've ignored up to now was crab pot fish. I still haven't caught any, so I set up some crab pots in the ocean. Regardless of whether or not I need them for community center bundles, I still need to catch them for our collection log. Before we got stopped by our bad luck, I was super prepared to go crazy in the Skull Cavern, so I want to go right back in. We still haven't had a decent run for a good amount of iridium ore, but once again, we're just absolutely slogging through the caves, only 5 floors down halfway into the day. Time to bail. Almost forgot, there's a few recipes we actually need to buy from Krobus as well. While completing a quest for Carolyn, we get the networking achievement, meaning she's the 10th person we've hit 5 hearts with, if you're wondering where we're sitting in terms of relationships. And we continue the quests by delivering the eggs to Gus for his special request, and that's another ticket. We got bombs for helping the community. That's normal. The dino egg we got has hatched, so now we'll be able to get as many dino eggs as we want. The gold pan is ready, so we move on to the steel hoe. For completing the egg quest, we got the mini jukebox, which I will never use in a recording because I add in my own music. Kind of a shame, really. The rare seed, thanks to the speed grow I used on it, is ready early. Turning it into Old Man Cannoli in the Secret Woods, we get our 4th star drop, only 3 to go. Another Monday, another quest. Aquatic population would have the same reward as the biome balance quest we did before, so we'll take Curious Substance. And so the infamous ghost hunt commences. Ghosts are pretty rare to start with, and they only have a 10% chance of dropping ectoplasm for the quest. We don't get it the first night. I do, however, have an apple to donate to the artisan bundle, which is the last item we needed for the greenhouse. I'll plant the 2 pomegranate saplings I've yet to plant in there, since they'll produce all year that way. And I can't plant the ancient fruit seed that we got from the museum until I get my hoe back. I'll also extend our paths to go out here, a very important step. We grab the steel hoe, and we continue our attempt to find the ectoplasm. Still no luck. But I did find the forging experience book from a slime, so that's something. And now we'll set up the greenhouse with an ancient fruit and some coffee. Just 2 quality sprinklers worth for now. It's about time we get that shed going. You know the one. the keg shed. I'm not sure how much I'll actually use it this time around. I'd like to try some other money-making methods if I can. Fall 24th, 1:10 p.m. Harvey said I have a healthy glow. I will wife this man up. That night we had some heavy wind along with the sound of a tree falling down. That's new. And level 10 farming. Artisan, of course. I headed to Cindersap Forest and sure enough, one of the giant trees has fallen down and I need to donate 100 hardwood to fix it up. And I easily have enough. So I slap it in. Perhaps someone will move in. With more apples from our apple tree, we now have everything we need for the fodder bundle. Now all that's left in the bulletin board bundles is the enchanter's bundle. Back to ectoplasm. No ectoplasm. I decided to take another quick drop into the skull cavern on the 26th. Our goal is to reach floor 25 as we have a quest for it that will give us 10,000 gold. And this time it's a pretty solid run. I have a good luck buff from the spicy eels, so luck isn't nearly as much of an issue this time. I did get red cabbage seeds. It's only when you don't need them apparently. And while going down I was thinking the carbon ghosts would give us a chance for the ectoplasm, but it doesn't seem like it because I defeated a ton of them and no ectoplasm drop. I ended up reaching floor 48. We gathered 23 iridium ore, meaning we now have enough for either a tool upgrade or to fix up the boat to Ginger Island whenever we get that unlocked. And we reached level 9 mining, giving us crystallariums. I check on the fallen tree and there's a raccoon living in it. Turns out it's another sort of bundle type quest. He needs a mussel and a smoked midnight fish. A little random, but I can do that. While waiting for the Spirit Festival, we hunt for, all together now, ectoplasm. And I found it. Just kidding, no I didn't. At the festival, I buy both the rare crow and the crafting recipe for the jack-o'-lantern, the only two things that we need from here. I do also go through the maze for the golden pumpkin, which can either be sold for 5,000 gold or given as a loved gift to anyone. I'll save it for now, I'm not sure what I want to do with it. And at last, it is the final day of fall. We only have 2 bundles left, one needing a rabbit's foot and a pomegranate, the other for winter forageables, so there's really nothing we need to rush for. I started filling up the keg shed. And since I've now hit 8 hearts with Harvey, I give him my one and only bouquet. I actually don't have to give bouquets to any of the other marriage candidates for perfection, so they'll all stay at 8. Unfortunately, it does look like I won't reach marrying Harvey this year unless we somehow get it to rain in winter. Got a lobster and oyster from our next set of crab pots, just a few more ocean fish to go. And it's our last day to do it. I gotta get the ectoplasm today, or we'll be taking that quest again in the future. Nothing. As a break from all the combat I've been doing, I take some time to catch a midnight carp for the raccoon, and fall comes to an end. During the last few days of fall, we collected some powder melon seeds from the seed spots in the ground, and since my farm is split into 2 sides already, I'll set up one side for powder melons and the other side for the usual winter foraging seeds. Also, small detail, you may have noticed that there's still grass in the ground. It can't be eaten since animals don't come outside, but we can still cut it for hay. A nice little quality of life change in 1.6. I grabbed the magnifying glass. Not only do I want to fill the collection list for secret notes, but a few of them give hints towards really rare items that I probably wouldn't find otherwise. This week we need both of the quests that are on the board. Fragments of the Past will be oodles easier once we have Ginger Island unlocked, so I'll hunt for the prismatic jelly, and I'll be tackling that today. You won't believe it, but I actually found it immediately. I deserve it. Bonus, when I turn it in, I get a fat 5,000 gold. And it gives me the recipe for Monster Musk the next morning. This is an incredibly important tool for a playthrough that involves a bunch of monster-based goals, like the Slayer missions or ectoplasm. Winter 2nd is our patented fishing day, trying to clean up all the fish we've yet to catch that are exclusive to winter. And now that we have Artisan, the smoked fish are going to sell for another 1.4 times multiplier, which is wild. A quick and easy 15,000 gold, and I didn't even sell everything I caught that day. I haven't busted open geodes in a while. I have 36 Omni geodes to go through, as well as a handful of frozen and magma geodes. I decided to actually keep 20 of the Omni geodes to trade for treasure troves at the Desert Merchant, and I'm able to donate 6 more items to the museum. That's 69 items donated total. Nice. Only 26 to go. I've waited a few days for the forageables to build up before hunting for them. I dig up the snow yam and winter root easy enough, there's plenty of holly in the secret woods, and both crocus and crystal fruits are found in the forest. An easy finish to the crafts room bundles, leaving just one bundle left. It's basically a waiting game for either the rabbit's foot or a pomegranate. I may have gotten a little stuck on a train that went by today. If I didn't have a warp totem, I would have been a goner. And the quarry bridge has been built. Now that we've collected some forageables, we can populate the other side of our farm. Well, we gotta do it. The hardest fish in the game, the scorpion carp. I must have been goated, some would say with the sauce, because I caught it first try. Very important milestone, we're too rich for basic torches, so we're upgrading to some wooden braziers. A lot of our time this season will be focusing on gifts. Things are gonna start slowing down a ton with the community center almost done, giving me a lot of time to just walk around handing people various vegetables. So that'll be a bit of my focus going forward. We do have to check out the quarry though. I figure this will be a lot easier with bombs. Also, the addition of coal nodes here is really neat. I believe they can only be found here and in the volcano. I'm also grabbing the golden scythe from the quarry cave, but I'm very interested in this extra area they added from the update. There's a rock that takes like 1,000,000 hits to break, and behind it you can find skeleton mages. Normally they would only be able to be found in the dangerous mines, way later in the game. Unfortunately though, they don't really drop anything interesting, and this area doesn't really add much else, so it seems like a kind of a weird thing to add. Well, we grab the scythe and peace out. It's another book day, and finally, I'm loaded. I buy Way of the Wind Part 2, increasing our base speed once again, and Ol Slither Legs, which now makes walking through crops barely slow you down at all. We now essentially have half of a coffee speed buff at all times. Next on the to-do list, the legendary mutant carp. One of the easier legendary fish, so there's basically no struggle. And I got a treasure chest from it, which gave me mutant carp roe thanks to that book power we got earlier. That's just really cool. I don't know, it's just an item you couldn't get before. Grabbing a few things from the desert merchant, a desert totem for our next dive, some spicy eels, and 3 treasure troves. I popped them open, and not only did I get what's normally one of the first treasures I get, the chicken statue, but I also got the treasure chest, another chunky 5,000 gold. Our next tool upgrade will be the steel trash can. On the 5th of winter, I went to bed super early. Why? I didn't actually know it, but in 1.6, winter gets dark super early compared to other seasons. It's only 5 p.m. and from my quick glance at the game, it looks pitch black outside. So I went to bed assuming it's late. This happens a lot this season actually. We have our first coffee harvest, and I take this opportunity to expand them out a bit. I spent some time in the mines and I got 2 important secret notes. The first asking me to reach floor 100 of the Skull Cavern, where we'll then get a prize, and the other to bring maple syrup to the secret woods. And I oblige, earning us the ever important ability to sell salmon berries and blackberries for 3 times the price. It's not important, but it's a check mark on the powers list. Level 9 combat from that trip into the mines, and I've finally gathered the items I need for the raccoon. And as a reward, we get 25 powder melon seeds. Now he'll be able to start a family, and I can plant those seeds. Next day is the Ice Fishing Festival, which I've come to consider the least memorable of them all, but there's still one thing we need. We grab the Snowman Rarecrow from the Special Traveling Cart Shop, and we do beat the ice fishing competition. We didn't actually need to beat it for an achievement or anything, but we get the Shiny Dew hat, which is better than any reward I could have asked for. On the 9th, my house got upgraded again, which I pretty much only needed to do for the achievement. And we go for the Glacier Fish, which is actually one of the harder legendary fish to catch, but I was able to catch it even without any fishing buffs. Like I said, goated with the sauce. So I'm swimming in money. I don't really have anything pressing to use it on, so I use the large majority of it on the catalog, allowing me to change the flooring and wallpaper of my house to almost anything I want. I just wanted to make our side room a bit of a vibe. 10th of winter. It's a great luck day. I have that note to reach floor 100 of the mines, and I have a desert totem. We're going to give it a try. We've got bombs, plenty of food, and just about the only thing I don't have at this point are copious amounts of staircases. Things are going pretty well. I'm already at floor 27 by the time I would have been able to start if I didn't have the desert totem. In fact, you could say that we're positively zooming, mostly thanks to the over 100 bombs that I've packed. You'd be surprised how much they speed things up. And around the floor 70 point, I just get back to back holes that send me all the way down to floor 100. And that's our Iridium Snake Milk reward, adding 25 points to our health permanently. I didn't stop there. We kept going until we couldn't anymore. Not only is the iridium valuable, but the rocks here give tons of mining experience and the monsters tons of combat experience, both of which we're just barely off of level 10 from. I end up finally stopping at floor 120. We collected, get this, 229 iridium ore, 1 prismatic shard, 2 diamonds, and 18 omni geodes, among many other less rare items as well. I really couldn't wish for a better trip. We'll be set for a while off of that. I did hit level 10 mining, and I actually chose Prospector for a change. I don't plan on selling any bars anytime soon, so I'll take the extra coal. We have all of this unutilized space in the greenhouse, and until we really start getting our ancient fruits going, I'll fill it up with starfruit. So it's Thursday now. I may have forgotten to check the special order board up to this point. Once again, I need both of these quests for recipes, and I'm not too keen on spending a full week hunting for ghosts again, so I'll gather bug guts instead. Squid Fest has begun? Just like with the Trout Derby, our job is to catch as many squid as we can, up to 8 for the best reward. Once again, the bait maker shows its usefulness. I can't imagine catching them all without it. Pretty much the only difference here is squid are a little bit more difficult than rainbow trout. After catching all 8, I get all of the rewards, most notably a universally loved pearl and a new book power, which gives us a 25% chance for a double yield from crab pots. A much needed buff for the alternate fishing method. Unlike the Trout Derby though, each day of Squid Fest has unique rewards, so we get back to it the next day, giving us a treasure chest, mystery boxes, seafoam pudding, but most importantly, the squid hat. Incredible. This is my 4th and last day of grinding out bug meat, and this will be our first instance of using monster musk to help us out. And we did get enough meat in time. Our steel trash can is ready, and I'd like to buy our first iridium upgrade for the pickaxe. While walking around Cindersap Forest, I noticed that our raccoon has a friend. There's another mission for us as well. Dried crystal fruit and powder melon jelly. Should be easy, considering those are the only 2 crops this season. Monday, 2 quests, both needed. Thought I'd take a break from combat and do the one for fishing. And Harvey has become my very first 10-hearter, so we get to experience one of the most beautiful cutscenes for sure. Great gradient on the back, happy Pride Month. Gotta say though, I am also afraid of heights, and you won't catch me anywhere near a hot air balloon. From the sky to the bottom of the sea, the night market is open, and while there's a ton of interesting shops selling all sorts of things from coffee to decorations to out-of-season seeds, we're interested in the submarine. Here we need to catch a midnight squid, the spookfish, and the blobfish, and I have no issues with any of them. I also bought a bunch of plants that I use to decorate the empty rooms of my house, just for fun. I've forgotten something incredibly important. There we go. So for that mission that we needed to catch a bunch of trash, Floor 100 of the mines is by far the best place to do it. You almost always catch trash, and if you don't, you catch one of the most valuable fish in the game. It's a win-win. We finished it up super quick. You may have noticed that I haven't mentioned the ticket rewards in a while. I got a plant, so there you go. I always forget to do the casino quest. I should already have everything ready to go for it. We put the battery into the bus stop, rainbow shell into the train station, and a solar essence into the desert skeleton. Casino pass obtained. We could have done this at pretty much any point after summer, but again, I just forget about it. The iridium pickaxe is ready. Probably the most important tool milestone in the game. At this point, we're level 10 in all skills other than foraging and combat, both of which are level 9. Today I worked tirelessly to push foraging up. Not quite there yet, but I'll continue to push. I've collected the items I needed for the second raccoon quest, earning the Raccoon's Journal. Bit of a pointless power, making mixed seeds more common from weeds, but we do still need it to fill out our book list. From training foraging, I finally have the wood needed to upgrade our barn to deluxe, and we cinch out level 10 a little later in the desert. And while we're here, I'll take a quick trip into the casino to see what there is to do. I don't quite want to gamble everything away yet. We'll want to build up some luck buffs since that increases our gains. From now, we'll just check out the shop. There's the rare crow we need to buy, but also a few new items like the fireworks and some wallpapers and floors. Just one more stat to build now. Combat is always my last level 10, so this might take a while. For foraging level 10 though, I actually chose Tracker. Finding artifact spots could help us finish out the museum, and panning spots will be more useful with an upgraded pan. Checking the coop on winter 20th, we have finally got a rabbit foot drop. See, this is why I got the second rabbit. We're now just waiting on the pomegranate tree, and then the community center will be done. I popped open a ton of mystery boxes we've gotten from various sources, and I got the Book of Mysteries, giving us a slightly higher chance to find even more mystery boxes. And just the next day, we got our pomegranate. Not from the tree, but from the traveling cart. Even though it'll still only just be a few days until the tree produces, I'll take this opportunity for an early clear. done. That was the last bundle. This is a very important point of the run because not only is the stress of missing an item and having to wait another year to collect it gone, but now we can set our sights towards the next major goal, perfection. Which really is just a ton of smaller goals we'll be working towards all at the same time, the most immediate of which is probably collecting all 130 golden walnuts. To do that though, first we'll have to unlock passage to Ginger Island. I spent a lot of my free time in the next few days slaying monsters both for combat experience and for the Slayer goals, along with celebrating the completion of the community center. All of that until we start getting our post-community center quests on the 23rd. First, we have the Witch's Swamp quest. We open up the mutant bug lair with Krobus, grab the Dark Talisman from within, and while we're there, we grab the exclusive fish, the Slime Jack. Enter the Witch's lair, catch a Void Mayonnaise for the henchman. Yes, you can just catch a Void Mayonnaise here for the quest. It's actually a really decent moneymaker as well. Get another exclusive fish, the Void Salmon, and grab the Magic Ink, which unlocks the magic buildings from the wizard. We'll need to buy all of these, excluding the Junimo Hut, for perfection, including the wildly expensive golden clock. We also unlocked the boat fixing quest. Luckily, we prepared early and already have the 5 batteries, 200 hardwood, and 5 iridium bars that we need. And the boat was repaired that night. Tomorrow, we'll be busy. Wasting no time, we're heading out. Surprisingly, we actually got an achievement upon arrival. That's new. Like I said, our immediate goal is to collect as many golden walnuts as we can. They are a perfection task, but they also unlock everything from areas to fast travel on Ginger Island. We can't really make too much progress without them. We also meet Leo, another character we'll be gifting gifts to hit 10 hearts. I've done this hunt a million times at this point, and I quickly grab all of the easily accessible hidden walnuts in Ginger Island North. Although notably, there's this new parrot here that you can pay to collect all of the walnuts for you. I won't be doing that this early, as I believe collecting all of the golden walnuts is a very important part of the experience, but maybe we'll check it out later. It appears to be 10,000 gold per uncollected walnut. I also grab a few golden walnuts from the volcano as well. This is more than enough to unlock access to Ginger Island West, which has another plethora of golden walnuts to collect. My goal on the first day that I reach Ginger Island is always to collect at least 30 golden walnuts, which you can just barely do without any RNG based ones, as long as you know where to find each and every one, and are decent at Simon Says. And the reason I want 30 walnuts is first to unlock Ginger Island West with 10, and then to unlock our second farmhouse with an additional 20. I collect more than enough, so we're good. This just makes setting up things on the island a whole lot smoother. With our remaining time, I set up a small plot of crops, notably including melon and wheat. We actually still have quite a bit to do back in Pelican Town, so we head right on back the next day. Not to mention, it's the Feast of the Winter Star. Just talking to Penny here got me the popular achievement, meaning we've hit 5 hearts with 20 people. And our person to gift was Demetrius. He likes hardwood, right? And the gift for us was a single magnet bait from Willy. Surprisingly, not the most useless gift I've gotten from this event. Shout out 1 clay from Vincent. The raccoons have a baby now, and yet another quest. Dried common mushrooms and white algae. Alright. I already have the mushrooms, but surprisingly, not the algae. After giving out some gifts around town, I head back to Ginger Island to get back to business. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the volcano. There's a bunch of walnuts in here, and it'll help me work towards level 10 combat. Not to mention there's tons of other things we need here, cinder shards for upgrading tools, new monsters that have Slayer quests, new resources we'll need for crafting recipes, and possibly better weapons than we currently have access to. Oh, and also pineapple seeds, which I forgot about. I hit floor 5, and unfortunately I still don't have the Dwarvish translation guide, so I can't access the shop here. Probably something I should get on. I also forego unlocking the shortcut. I don't want to spend golden walnuts on anything that doesn't unlock access to more walnuts yet. And we get a few more nuts. Destroying this hothead did it. Level 10 combat. That's another treat to look forward to tomorrow. On the final floor, as luck would have it, I get the Dragon Tooth Cutlass from the rare chest, which is in fact one of the 2 swords that are better than our current sword. And not only that, it came with an innate enchantment that increased its critical power even higher than what it normally has. That's gonna be our new main weapon. And we reached the tippy top of the volcano, earning 2 more golden walnuts, a prismatic shard, and access to the forge, where we can enchant our tools and weapons, combine rings to save equipment slots, and improve the stats of our weapons. Later though, we'll need to gather more cinder shards for that. I do go for 1 enchantment enchant while we're here on our pickaxe. And I got Swift. This is actually exactly what I wanted. It allows us to swing our pickaxe a lot faster, and remember, I'm playing on controller, so no animation canceling for me. I used the walnuts we've collected to gain access to the dig site, but it's a bit too late to do anything there for now. Level 10 combat, I'm gonna take that 15% damage boost. In the morning, we got the sense that a new way is open. This is actually thanks to us hitting level 10 in all of the skills. Before we explore that though, let's take a quick pass at the dig site. I release Professor Snail from the cave. We'll need to collect a bunch of bones for him, so I go ahead and clear out the dig site, getting both legs I'll need, and I also immediately dig up a golden coconut. That's pretty rare. It only becomes common once you've popped the first one open. So, wow. I also dig up a snake skull and grab the 4 golden walnuts hidden here. Already I have 3 fossils to donate to the display in Professor Snail's hut. I quickly grab the mummified frog from the jungle portion of the island, as well as a journal scrap, which is basically a secret note for Ginger Island. Donating the frog earns us a walnut, and I answer the 2 quiz questions that I definitely know off the top of my head and didn't have to look up for another 2 nuts. Oh look, a panning spot. 10 iridium ore, a diamond, and a hoodie. Okay, the upgraded pan kinda goes crazy. Back to Pelican Town, we have the items ready for the raccoon, and this time we get, oh, a raccoon hat. I'm not gonna ask how you made that. But now for the moment we've all been waiting for. This door has been added to the bottom of Cindersap Forest, and it leads to the Mastery Room, a final experience challenge to earn some of the best crafting recipes and tools in the game. We need to earn another 10,000 experience in any stat to earn our first set of upgrades. While I won't be going out of my way just to get experience, I'll keep this in mind going forward. I also happen to have a ton of coffee and starfruit to harvest from the greenhouse today, and this is actually before the farming experience got nerfed for mastery in a future update, so I'm getting full value here. It was nerfed because farming experience is just so easy in the late game when you have like huge starfruit fields, so yeah, this is pretty good. It is the final day of year 1. We've made some good progress, nothing really went wrong, can't complain. Real quick, one of the things we need to do for perfection is cook every meal, and I've never been good at keeping track of that. I just throw everything I can into the fridges and cook whatever's highlighted. That way we knock out 8 of the recipes right now. Don't expect me to seriously tackle this until later on. Some of the future upgrades will make it a lot easier. While I'm in town, I pop open the golden coconut we found, getting the guaranteed golden walnut. And I head to the desert to buy an atrocious amount of starfruit seeds. Yep, it's time. We're setting up a starfruit farm on Ginger Island. The earlier we get this set up and start making money, the less soul-crushing that grind will be in the end. Pretty sizable plot for our first setup. I finish off the day spending some time fishing. We both need to catch the Ginger Island exclusive fish and get the 5 golden walnuts hidden in the water. And I did get the lionfish and the blue discus, but no nuts. Year 2, baby. For a reminder of what this means for us, we'll now have access to Kent, another NPC to gift for. Prices of resources have increased throughout all of the shops, which is fine, I don't usually use them anyway. And we'll have access to the Year 2 exclusive crops from Pierre. And of course, we're back in spring. New week, new quest, Robin's Resource Rush gives us a crafting recipe, so we'll take it. We need to collect 1,000 stone, so I head straight to the mines. From that, I found a 3rd dwarf scroll to donate. I still need to find 1 more before I get the translation guide. Pierre, I need that garlic seed for some golden walnuts, believe it or not. Another small step I'll need to start taking towards perfection. I have huge chests full of all sorts of resources and a workbench. I'm just going to scroll through my entire crafting list and craft whatever I haven't crafted yet. By the way, if you're not seeing that number crafted thing at the bottom of the descriptions, it's actually a setting in the options you need to turn on. I was able to craft just about everything we currently have on our list, including the bungus sign. Ginger Island is raining the next day, and we got an emerald from Bird in Ginger Island South. That's the first step of the bird puzzle completed. Planted the garlic on Ginger Island, very important. And I head back into the volcano to hunt for some more nuts. I got 4 of them as well as a mango sapling. Those nuts give me just enough to rebuild Ginger Island South and get me access to the Pirate Cove, which leads to another 3 walnuts, plus 2 more while fishing trying to catch the stingray. And that night, it's apparently our first rainy day over in the valley because lightning blows open the defunct Joja Mart. So now that we've caught all the new fish we have access to, let's take a look at what's left. There's a few crab pot fish, the legend, and an octopus, all expected, but somehow I've never caught a pufferfish, and I believe that's a lingcod. That's new. There's also a fish I've never seen before on page 2. Yeah, there's 2 pages now. Turns out it's a new fish added in 1.6. Guess we'll clean that up soon. So Ken. Clearly he's behind everyone else, but his birthday is pretty quick here on Spring 4th. I'm going to give him that golden pumpkin we've been saving, a loved gift, and the Stardrop tea we got. Immediately, he's at 6 hearts, and actually in front of Abigail. That felt powerful. Speaking of friendship, now that it's raining, we can finally wife up that man. Expanding the farm a little bit, and I now realize that now that we have Kent, we can do the fetch quest. I've unlocked all of the major areas to Ginger Island now, so I'll give up some walnuts for the mailbox. We have to do this first before unlocking the warp obelisk back to our regular farm, which is really useful to have. Back in the volcano, I find a dragon tooth. We've got to find a ton of these for a couple of different recipes. They're super rare, so it could be one of the last grinds we complete. I use the remaining 5 walnuts we have to unlock the shortcut out. Unfortunately, I didn't find any golden walnuts, but I did find the journal scrap revealing another hidden spot. And I also got the hot Java ring from a chest. One of my favorite rings of all time. That'll solve our coffee troubles forever. I randomly decided to cook some hash browns the next morning, and I got the cook achievement for cooking 10 different recipes. So that shows how far behind we are there. I'm making a point of checking my coop every few days. Reminder that every single item on the ground is 5 experience, as well as petting each animal. That adds up very quickly for mastery. It's a rainy day, so it should be easy to find everyone for the fetch quest. We give the war memento to Kent, the gourmet tomato salt to Gus, the rose to Sandy, coffee to Harvey, the remote to George, the Arctic shard to the wizard, we give Willie our worm, and finally we return the pirate's locket, earning a juicy 5 walnuts. I'm a little curious where we're sitting at this point, so I checked the walnut room and we're at 75, which actually means we're at 76 walnuts, but that's besides the point. That's a whole rant in the imperfection run I did a while ago. Back up at the forge, I'm looking for some damage upgrades. Since our Dragon Tooth sword now has a ton of crit damage, I'm forging it with 3 aquamarines for a crit chance buff. Kind of a pseudo crit build here. And it's an even night, meaning that the pirates are partying. For some of the most often missed walnuts in any playthrough, we play the darts game 3 times for a golden walnut each time. I never really found the game that hard, but I will say I see what people mean now that I'm giving it a try on controller. It's still not too bad though. My strategy is to not move the aim at all and just wait for the cursor to sway into the spot I want. Spring 7th of year 2 is our wedding date. I gotta say, one of the major reasons I went for Harvey this run is because of a bunch of lovely comics I found on TikTok by Casey. Fan comics always add a ton of characterization to the NPCs in Stardew, and I sometimes start to get it mixed up with canon. Just a bit. It's time. I've amassed the experience. Which skill mastery do I choose first? I'll be frank, they're all good, all add interesting and useful things, but first I think I'm going to go with fishing, mostly because it's what I'm most excited to try out. Immediately I'm taking it for a spin. What I've opted to do is use the new challenge bait to potentially catch 3 fish at once, and I'm using the advanced iridium rod to have 2 cork bobbers so that we have as good of a chance as possible to get a perfect catch. I also have a ton of fish smokers to smoke whatever we catch. I kept going all day long, catching the pufferfish we were missing in the process, and I ended up shipping 52 fish total for almost 60,000 gold. And I just started at 1 p.m. That is not shabby at all. Not to mention, a lot of fun. Next day, I get that walnut we saw in the journal scrap, as well as 2 walnuts from the mussel rocks. It is, in fact, a new week. But I don't need either of these quests, and they both actually give me the same reward, the mini shipping bin. Kinda lame. I suppose I'll bean it up though. I'm once again doing something I couldn't do in 1.5, cutting down my fruit trees. Now, they refund the sapling, letting me replant them in the greenhouse. Never know when I'll need more apples or apricots, so having them available year-round will be nice. It's about time I check out the missing bundle in the old Joja Mart building, and it doesn't look like it was remixed at all. We'll start working towards it. I'm able to quickly get a gold quality void salmon, and I'll throw in one of the extra prizzies I've gotten. That's 2 out of 5 items already. It's raining, and I've put it off long enough. We're going to catch the final legendary fish, the legend itself. Not without preparations though, I've got seafoam pudding ready to go. But unfortunately, it took so long just to hook it that the buff wore off before it could be useful. But I guess I'll give it a try anyway. Wow, yeah, I do not like doing that without fishing buffs, but at least we now only have a few more fish to go. I did sell it, by the way. 42,000 gold smoked. Feels good. And that was enough to earn us the millionaire achievement the next morning. The melon and wheat have grown on Ginger Island, but I can't harvest it yet. We're going to have the gourmand frog check them out, giving us 5 walnuts each. The third crop garlic that we need him to check out is still growing. Also, side note, his speech has been de-Gunganified, which is one of the hot controversial topics of this update. We use those walnuts we got to build the farm obelisk, allowing us to teleport straight back to the farm whenever we want. And we just need 5 more walnuts to access the walnut room. To improve the island farm, I buy a bunch of deluxe speed grow and more starfruit seeds. Speed grow is the best option since we'll be turning the starfruit into artisan products anyway, so we don't really need any quality. In the volcano, I was able to find 1 more walnut, plus the mummified bat, which is of course another walnut. One of the items for the missing bundle we'll need is a silver quality wine, and for that, we grab the cellar upgrade for our house. For the next task, I'm simply using Monster Musk to slay a bunch of the monsters we have left for Slayer goals. Mostly the dust sprites. I'd really like to get that burglar's ring at this point. But we're interrupted by the egg festival starting. Even though there's not anything we need from here, all of the festivals in 1.6 are unique in year 2, and I wanted to check it out. Sure enough, the eggs were in completely different spots, and I just barely managed to win. And now you get prize tickets for winning festivals you've already gotten the reward for. And that ticket earned us the Yoba cow. Back at Ginger Island, our garlic finished growing, earning us another 5 walnuts, which allows us to enter the walnut room. At this point, I consider us officially in the endgame. Here we'll get a bunch of incredibly hard missions for key gems, and we'll need to spend those key gems on crafting recipes, which we need for perfection, as well as some items that will be super useful for us on the way, like Pierre's missing stock list and the key to the city. The first mission we take is to reach a score of 50,000 in Junimo Kart. We can also check on our perfection progress, just 39%, but that'll be speeding up soon, putting our cow god in her rightful place. And I've harvested a good amount of starfruit at this point, allowing us to set up a Junimo hut on our regular farm. Better get to work then. While I consider myself pretty decent at Junimo Kart, I really don't like playing it. I sometimes play games like Call of Duty and Overwatch and I just do not rage at all. It's a calming experience to me. This though, broken controllers. At the very least, 1.6 made the minigame a bit easier, both by adding a bit of grace when jumping late, and the whale stage has been massively nerfed. There isn't even like a third of the bubbles that were here previously. It's actually one of the more fun stages now. I will not be choosing that quest again. We got a bit of a weird letter the next morning, an alternate solution to perfection? Maybe we'll check that out. Before we do though, the Desert Festival has finally arrived. This is our first time experiencing it because we didn't have the desert unlocked at this time last year. There's many ways to earn the special currency here, calico eggs, but I choose to use the Skull Cavern for them. First thing I do is get some extra buffs from the chef here. I choose defense and luck, and checking out the shop, I'm not sure if there's really anything I need. It's mostly aesthetic items. They do give a quest for some extra eggs. I choose to slay 10 purple slimes. And while heading down, it's normal, except now there's these statues that give us more eggs, but have a chance of giving a negative effect, like less healing from food or more monster spawns. There's also calico egg nodes that work just like any other ore node. These negative effects from the statues add up pretty quickly. Lots of more monster effects stop me pretty early, and I do end up getting knocked out. Luckily I didn't bring any value, that's all of my calico eggs. Well, checking in with the Adventure Guild afterwards nets me 88 eggs, so it's not all bad. What interests me more than everything else are the random villager shops set up on the south side of the desert. Robin offers an alternate way to get the furniture catalog, and Penny sells her previously unobtainable weapon, as well as some of the unique furniture from her 14 heart event. I think I'll save my calico eggs for now. Anyway, what's up with that Fizz guy? Seems like he'll sell me 1% of perfection for 500,000 gold each. And while that's enticing, perfection is like the entire journey. Doing the math, this would also let you skip the golden clock for half of the price, 5 million gold instead of 10 million gold. Still not interested though. While at the dig site, I found the vertebrae needed for the snake fossil, giving us another 3 walnuts, which gives us enough to unlock the Island Trader. There's 2 recipes we need here. I have enough for the first, but we'll have to save up cinder shards for the other. and I make another attempt at the Calico Skull Cavern the next day. It goes a lot better. I managed to reach all the way down to floor 74, and I leave mostly because I need time to do everything else at the festival. I collected around 200 eggs while in the Skull Cavern, and I earned an extra 100 from Gil for our Calico Egg score. And at the festival, the traveling merchant is selling a bit of a special item, the Joja catalog, I imagine with Joja themed items. Neat, but I don't really need it. George is manning one of the stalls, selling 5 artifact troves for 10 eggs each. I actually need those, so I yoink. I also grabbed the retro TV because I think it's neat. I'm gifting out items just to try and clear out my inventory so I can buy more items, and while I'm doing that, I earned the Beloved Farmer achievement for reaching 10 hearts with 8 people, the last of the friendship-based achievements. It also gives me the best hat of all, cough cough. I have 50 eggs left over that I saved for tomorrow. While in the cavern, I got enough experience for our second mastery choice, and we're picking up combat this time. Again, because I'm excited to try it out with the whole trinket system. Third and last day pushing into the Skull Cavern for Calico Eggs. This is a good time to mention that the statues aren't always negative effects. This one just straight up gave me 50 extra eggs. We got our first trinket drop on this run too, the Golden Spur. It gives us a temporary speed boost whenever we get a critical hit, which is a pretty good fit for the build we have going here. I managed to reach floor 73, and although the depth was about the same, I hit a bunch more of the statues this time through, resulting in a massive 200 eggs from Gil, and also Gil's hat. Our boy Harvey is operating one of the shops with a bunch of furniture from his normal house, and I grab a few things. Haley has a weapon, cake, and photo decorations, nothing I'm really interested in. This leaves me with 439 eggs, so I blow some on the desert-themed decorations, a magic rock candy, and mystery boxes, even though I don't really need them. And with those decorations I bought, I set up one of the rooms in the house to be more to Harvey's taste. Our cellar's finished, and I have a bunch of starfruit wine to throw in them. Most importantly, I do need one for the missing bundle. Bungus sign reminding me what's important in life. I found out that to catch that fish that was added in the update, you need to fish in one of these fancy new waterfalls. Very neat idea for a fish. That gets us the goby. While heading to the island farm, I saw that we got lucky and Gus visited. This needs to happen at least once because he sells a cooking recipe from here. Don't need to worry about that anymore. Now I'm off to the volcano to work towards the 50 cinder shards for that crafting recipe. I didn't quite get enough, but there's no rush. It's been a while since we've done some work at the blacksmith. First, I'm going to upgrade my axe to iridium. Next, we're busting up all of the geodes we've gathered. Yes, that's 77 Omni Geodes. The goal is to hopefully only have a few items left to donate after it's done. It took several trips, but we got to donate 12 items altogether, which leaves only 2 minerals left. We've been giving gifts to Harvey every day like a good husband, and he's finally hit 13 hearts with us, giving us our 5th star drop. Only 2 to go. Another rainy day on Ginger Island gives us a ruby from the north. That's the second part of the bird puzzle completed. I also take this rainy day as a chance to complete the mermaid puzzle, tuning 5 blocks 1 time for each small stone near them and 5 times for each large stone. Another 5 walnuts. Even though it's Sunday, I remember to check the key quests, and luckily, the extended family quest is there, and it always gives you 3 days regardless of when you take it. I have something that I want to try with it. I used my first 20 key gems from the other quest to buy the key to the town, allowing me to enter any building whenever I want. So I'm going to make ourselves a little setup here, and with the advanced iridium rod with a cork bobber and quality bobber, plus targeted bait, I'm going to try and catch as many legend 2s as I can. Unfortunately, while I did catch a few of them, I just wasn't hooking them enough to really be useful or keep up my targeted bait supply. I try a similar setup for Glacierfish Jr. and it goes a bit better. As you can see, we made a lot of money from that. Only 1 day of work, not even a perfect setup, and over 100,000 gold. I do the same setup for the Son of the Crimson Fish the next day, and I catch the radioactive carp normally. Once again, I got row for it, which is pretty funny. And that just leaves Miss Angler, which is easy as always. Another decent chunk of money, although it seems like the legend really is the best to go for. Even if it's much harder and doesn't seem as lucrative, it just sells for that much more. I made sure to head back to the flower dance this year, as I still needed to buy both the Tub of Flowers recipe and the Rare Crow. The only thing new this year is all of the dialogue lines. Nothing too notable. Another rainy day at Ginger Island once again gave us an emerald at the Ginger Island South, which is a bit of a shame. I didn't even know it could repeat gem spots. I thought it would cycle through all of them and then repeat. While harvesting my crops, I hit my next mastery level, even though I haven't used combat much yet. And we can once again choose a new key quest. I choose the Dangerous Skull Cavern mostly because it's the most interesting of the two. And I spend another 20 key gems on the magic bait recipe. I fished in the dig site river to find the final fossil I needed for the fossil collection, earning us another 6 nuts and a banana sapling. And I've also collected the items needed for the next raccoon quest in exchange for some fairy dust. At this point, I don't believe there's any reward we need from these quests, but finishing them is an achievement. The next mastery we grab is for mining. No particular reason this time, it just seems like the most useful, and we might make use of the craftables in our next Skull Cavern run. I grab our Iridium Axe, but I'm a little short on bars at the moment to upgrade much else, because I've got to use the Iridium bars I have to buy the Desert Totem recipe from the Desert Trader. And with that Desert Totem recipe, we head to the desert early to tackle the dangerous Skull Cavern quest. The biggest difference here is that the monsters are going to be hitting harder, and if we're lucky, we'll get some radioactive ore needed for some of the new crafting recipes we've gotten. Luckily, we do end up getting a prehistoric floor, important because the Slayer quest for dinosaurs is almost always the hardest one. And we can also naturally find some key gems down here, a nice little bonus. While heading down, we find the Ice Rod trinket. It shoots a slow-moving shot that freezes enemies in place. Let me tell you, this is probably my favorite trinket out of all the ones I've used, and that's even coming from me, post-production Salmence, who's tried them all already. A second prehistoric floor makes me very happy, but unfortunately, all of that work only got us to floor 67. That's alright though, because we can give it another try the next day. Same buffs as before, but with better daily luck. I end up getting a bunch of the other trinkets on my way down, but I don't enjoy them nearly as much as the Ice Rod if I'm honest. Things are looking good here, decent time, we're close to floor 100, until I get the wildest floor I've ever seen. And I'm just knocked out. Yeah, I'm cashing in the 1 day reset I'm allowed. Listen, it was the last day to do that mission, there's no telling when we'll get it again. And we made it to floor 100 this time, but as usual, we're pushing as far as we can go, which ended up being floor 115. Not too shabby for the Dangerous Caverns. And that brings us to summer of year 2. One thing I'm doing for the new month is buying a little bit of every single crop to plant on our main farm. This is because of the polyculture achievement, which requires us to donate 15 of every crop, and it'll also help us fill up the shipping log. Our Junimo hut will harvest them on their own, so it's no skin off our backs. It's completely automated. Our next special order board quest is Island Ingredients. This one's a doozy, taking the entire month to gather 100 ginger. I'll be gathering pretty much whatever I find from here on out. As for the key quest, I take Danger in the Deep, the mines version of the quest we just took. Out of all of the key quests, this is the only one that is required, as there's an achievement for reaching the bottom. And I buy 2 more recipes with the gems we have. We get straight to working on the mines, and we do get to use the elevator, so there's no need to do it all in one run. And we can work our way to the bottom freely, there's nothing really special we need to grind out here. It may be just my imagination, but it does feel like the Ice Rod helps out a ton here, especially with the new floor 40 jungle theme that swarms you with tons of bugs and bats. And afterwards, just because I randomly think of it, I go ahead and buy a pig, since we'll need to ship truffles and truffle oil. We got a lot of regular geodes in that first dive, which hold one of the minerals I need, and luckily, I do get it, as well as the last dwarf scroll I need for the Dwarvish translation guide. While I may have almost all of my minerals accounted for, I still have a lot of artifacts left, so I trade all of the 110 Omni geodes I have for 22 treasure troves. And from those dives into the dangerous mines, I found plenty of radioactive ore, enough to place into the brand new heavy furnace we got from Mining Mastery, so I can cook 5 at once. And that should already be all we'll need. I'm also making it a point to explore Ginger Island pretty much every day to clear out the space for ginger. Yeah, it's that tight. Fun fact, if you're unsure you'll get enough ginger just from harvesting, you can knock out tiger slimes for the chance to drop them as well, and it will count towards your quest. I'm also in here to clean up some of the leftover walnuts. This is our first time reaching the dwarf after getting the translation guide, and turns out there's a book for us to grab. We'll have to trade in 10 diamonds for it though. For now, we'll grab the recipes for the Island Warp Totem and Ginger Ale. And now we pop open those 22 treasure troves. Lots of valuable items, but unfortunately not even a single thing to donate. I finished out the day pushing to floor 89 in the mines. Would have gone 1 more floor deeper, but I literally had no time left. The next day is actually the Green Rain Day. I forgot we would get another one if I'm honest. I did take this chance to get a bunch of more moss, because who knows how much we'll need for crafting. Speaking of, I took this opportunity to do another run at my crafting list. We've got a lot of new recipes recently after all. Notably, I built our first statue of the Dwarf King, a reward from Mining Mastery that gives us a different mining related buff every day. And our first set of silver wine is ready. We'll be saving one for the missing bundle. And I just remembered I need to check the regular Mines Dwarf shop as well, and they also have a new book for me that makes me take 25% less damage from bombs, which is a minor buff, but cool. I also grabbed the random flooring recipe while we're here. I knock out the last few floors of the dangerous mines without too much trouble. It's really nothing compared to the forest floors, and that earned me an achievement for beating the dangerous mines, but funny enough, that was also the 40th Help Wanted quest I did, giving me the A Big Help achievement as well. So now we no longer have to worry about doing quests just for that counter. Now for the next step for our starfruit farm. Instead of using kegs, which only take one starfruit at a time, take forever to complete, ew, who wants that? I'm setting up a bunch of dehydrators, which can take 5 starfruit at a time and only take 1 day to process. These will be able to deal with the starfruit as fast as we harvest them, so it'll be a little more real-time efficient for us. And we have a line of dried starfruit waiting for us the next morning. Another mastery level has been unlocked, and we finally go for the farming one, mostly for one thing, the iridium scythe. Now that we're putting a lot more effort into our starfruit farm, it'll speed things up significantly. And our mineral list is so close to completion, I'm kind of ready to just get it finished. The last gem we have left is most commonly found in magma geodes, so I go to the lava floors of the mines to hunt for them. No luck from this first trip. Even though we're still working on the ginger collection since it takes a whole month, we can take on fragments of the past at the same time. The reason I left this quest for later is because of the tons of bone fragments here at the dig site. And at this point, it's been a while, we haven't been getting any new hints for the bird puzzle. I'm just gonna take it into our own hands. If you didn't know, you can slap in every possible combination and eventually you'll get it right. That's another 5 nuts. So at this point, we only have 5 nuts left. I know 3 are from the banana quest and the rest are somewhere in the volcano. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna pay the bird. It's only 50,000 gold at this point, and I kinda wanna see what happens. It doesn't have any lasting impact on our perfection run. Time for the next key quest. We'll be doing Key's Prismatic Grange, which requires us to donate 100 of 5 different color items. Honestly, this one's just a bunch of busy work. Speaking of quests, I just have a few bone fragments left to collect, which I can get from skeletons in the mines. And that completes that. Overnight, we get a fun little scene of Morris sending out parrots. That's fun. And that gives us all 130 golden walnuts. Next day, I'm able to dump a bunch of items we just had lying around into the Prismatic Grange, completing the yellow and green colors. And now that we have all the walnuts, we can spend a few to get some extra key gems. Then I buy Pierre's missing stock list, allowing us to buy any crop in any season, which is indispensable for cleaning up the last few tasks that we have left. Before we leave the island for the day, I went into the volcano to grab the Diamond Hunter book from the dwarf, which gives us a small chance to find a diamond from any rock. Actually very useful. And we return Pierre's stock list. Before we make a ton of use of it, I'll need to make some lists of what crops we still need. I was popping open some more geodes, and wouldn't you know it, we got an extra ancient doll. Now that may not mean much to most of you, but I know something that I can do with it. Heading to floor 100 of the mines, we toss it into the lake, and that is a bizarre thing to see in Stardew Valley. We can bring that stone to the wizard's basement to get Meowmere, a weapon from Terraria. Yes, this is vanilla. The second luau has come up fast, and I use it as a chance to clean up some of the leftover friendships, but our loving husband skipped the entire festival just to cook us a nice home-cooked dinner. For the red items we need for the Prismatic Grange, I chose to buy a ton of spaghetti, and shoved it all in my pockets, of course. And for purple, I gather bug meat. During that grind, we finished the Slayer quest for Duggies, and after all of that, all we have left are blue items. So, remember Meowmere that we got a little while ago? Unfortunately, it's not that good of a weapon, but it looks super cool and makes enemies explode when you kill them. Luckily, we can make our reliable dragon tooth saber look like a Meowmere at the forge. Very girly pop. Another one of the major goals for perfection is shipping every item in the shipping log, which basically contains every item that isn't in the other logs. I haven't paid too much attention to this, so we actually have a bunch of items in storage that we can ship out immediately, knocking out a sizable chunk of the log. For the blue items in Prismatic Grange, I chose to grow tons of blueberries, and just like that, it's finished up. The next recipe I buy is for blue grass starter, which was added in 1.6. It's just like regular grass starter, but for the bluegrass that you can always find on the meadow farm. The next quest I take is Key's Cuisine. We need to sell 100,000 gold worth of cooked food. I cook up any food we have lying around, but as expected, it's just a little over halfway there. For the rest, I just buy a ton of wheat flour and turn it into bread. It's one of the most cost-effective ways to just buy this quest out. Taking a break from cooking and farming, I'm doing some Slayer quests in the mines, where I reach our final level of mastery. And we finally finished the Dust Sprite Slayer goal. Honestly, I've had a set of pretty good rings for a while, so I wasn't really too rushed to go for the Burglar's Ring. And right after that, after taking the Ectoplasm quest for the 3rd time, I find it. I grabbed the final mastery upgrade for foraging, giving us mystic tree seeds, treasure totems, and the ability to find golden mystery boxes. Little did I know, I would be using this mastery the most of them all. I had a few more magma geodes to pop open from the Slayer grind, and good lord, there it finally is, Tiger's Eye. The minerals tab has been completed. I do another raccoon quest, and I got the jazzy jungle fish tank in return. I'm setting it up with 2 frog eggs, of course. And it took a while, but I finally went to grab the octopus. That leaves just 1 fish left. Unfortunately, it's exclusive to winter. Just to keep track of things, I thought I'd see what Slayer quests we have left. Just 3. Pepper Rexes, Serpents, and Magma Sprites. It's also a bookseller day, and I thought I'd check it out just in case. There is one new book called the Queen of Sauce Cookbook, and it gives us all of the recipes we didn't have yet, which are 14 from the rest of year 2. I'm not sure when this one gets unlocked, but it shortens the minimum day count for a perfection run by a lot. The only thing forcing it to be year 2 now would be Kent. There's also the special charm from the Joja truck I can get now. At some point I got the secret note for it and never noticed. Checking our special collectibles list, that leaves only 2 books and Spring Onion Mastery. I do a little more cooking that night, earning the Sous Chef achievement. That's 25 recipes cooked. I also sold a chunk of dried starfruits. Nice. I grabbed the deluxe retaining soil recipe from the Island Trader, and our next move is completing the leftover Slayer goals. I'm doing a Skull Cavern run both for Serpents and Pepper Rexes. I'm very powerful at this point, by the way. Survival isn't a problem, especially since we're just in the regular Skull Cavern. I went all the way down to floor 102, didn't complete any goals, but we made good progress. Taking a break from slaying for now, I check the traveling cart and see Harvey's portrait in it. I believe that's from reaching 14 hearts. Of course I take it. I also grabbed the first of the 4 obelisks we need to buy for the desert, since we'll be heading there quite a bit in the next few days. I've gotten some of those golden mystery boxes from Monster Drops, by the way, and the items they give aren't half bad. I set up the picture in the Harvey room. And now it's back to grinding Slayer. I choose the dangerous Skull Cavern this time, just on the off chance that we can grab some key gems while we're here. Still not done, but we have collected a metric ton of iridium from these dives. During these runs for a while now, I've been on the hunt for the last trinket I've yet to get, the parrot egg. I decided to finally give the quarry mines a try, since monsters from there have a very high chance to drop trinkets specifically, since the quarry is essentially treated as floor 5000. I must have had the right idea, or I just got lucky because I got it immediately. This has a parrot follow behind us and makes enemies able to drop money, and we've been knocking a lot of enemies out lately, so that'd be pretty useful. What I did next is continually forge the egg on an anvil until I got a level 4 egg, which has the highest chance for enemies to drop that money. It took 6 tries, which was 18 iridium bars total. Was it worth it? I don't know. I took it for a test run in the forest floors of the mines, and yeah, pretty crazy. I'm able to get 2,500 gold in just a few seconds. First tool upgrade in a hot minute, time for the iridium trash can. And I bust open some treasure troves, finally getting the golden mask we've been looking for. I also got the treasure appraisal book from the troves, allowing me to sell artifacts for triple the price. And that just leaves 1 book left. I have to confess, I knew this book existed this whole time, so I've been hoarding all of the extra artifacts we've gotten. And I'll sell them all off now. For a change of pace, I went for the Magma Sprite Slayer goal that night, and I reached it. Must have not been too far off. And all of those artifacts made 32,000 gold. Back to the Serpents now. Still didn't finish them this trip. With just 4 days left in the Ginger quest, I've finally collected enough. I also knock out Robin's Resource Rush, which we had to take a second time. A month of work, all for the solar panel recipe. And with the tickets I got from those 2 quests, I got another Star Drop tea. Since we unlocked Leo so late, he's been behind everyone else, so we go ahead and give it to him for his birthday, maxing him out. I've gathered enough money for one of the cheaper obelisks, so I'll knock that out as well. 2 more to go there. In what is probably the wildest looking room full of enemies that I've ever seen, we finally knock out the Serpent Slayer quest. That leaves just the Pepper Rexes. Unfortunately, it's rare to even find a single one, so who knows when we'll complete it. I got a large goat milk. Why is that important? It's surprisingly one of the last items I still need to ship. And I'm downing a lucky lunch because it is gambling time. Yeah, so the higher your daily luck and luck buffs, the better chance you have to win the slot machines. And if you need proof, I got this like 5 minutes into it. Yeah, that covers us. Even though it's year 2, I can't bring myself to skip the moonlight jellies. And this time I have my parrot with me. And Harvey too, I guess. That brings us to our second fall. I do the same thing that I did in summer and just buy a variety of all of the fall seeds for the polyculture achievement and shipping lists. I only have one more special request to take, and it is Cave Patrol for the Geode Crusher recipe. This one was incredibly quick to complete in the Dangerous Mines. We are done with the special requests board. And doing the math, I should only need to do one more key quest, so I take the extended family quest once again. The only recipe we still need from the key shop is the hopper. I grabbed the Legend 2, the Radioactive Carp, Miss Angler, the Son of Crimson Fish, and the Glacier Fish Jr., and that's it for the Walnut Room recipes. So I'm looking at that last fish there, yeah? And I'm thinking, I'm not really bound by season, am I? I can make magic bait now. With it, I'm able to quickly and easily snag a lingcod, doing 3 things: completing the fish collection log, unlocking the Master Angler achievement, and earning our 6th star drop, only one left from the museum. So now I turn my attention to the artifacts I have left. The first one I can get from artifact spots in the mountains, and I use a treasure totem, get it first try, the arrowhead. Now there's only 3 left, the 2 dolls, and the golden relic. I have some treasure totems left over, so I use one in the desert to try and get the golden relic, and again, I get it on the first try. It's all downhill from here because the 2 dolls can be guaranteed from the secret note hints. The first spot is right here in the desert, bada boom bada bing. And the second one, oh, I'll just get another one later, it can't be too hard. I believe the best chance for us to get them are from the farm, but I use all the treasure totems I have left and nothing. Oh well. This will have dire consequences for this run. I go ahead and donate what we got, leaving just the green doll left. Maybe I can just go and get it the next day if it's lost. That's not good. I still have the resources to make a few more totems. Let's give it another try. Well, one of the last things we still need to do is complete that missing bundle. I set up a sturgeon pond and we get some roe pretty quickly. We'll need caviar both for that bundle, and it's one of the last few items I need to ship too. Although, I go and check on that missing bundle and it turns out we don't need the caviar at all. We can just ship it. That marks the completion of the movie theater, which for the goals I set out for myself actually wasn't required for anything except one of the new achievements. Another progress check, after shipping all of those fall crops we planted, there's only 2 items left. The caviar, which I previously mentioned, and one item on the last page that seems to be new. Upon looking it up, I found that it's actually dried grapes specifically. I've got some grapes planted, so it shouldn't be too long. I spent some time in the volcano, now exclusively for crafting resources. Afterwards, I was able to afford the incredibly expensive mini forge recipe, which is a shame because it's also not the most useful item. It's just a mobile forge. I also have enough money for the water obelisk, leaving just the island obelisk left to buy. Caviar is finished processing, leaving just 1 item left for shipping. Unfortunately for the grapes, I need 5 of the same quality to put them into the dehydrator. That's a bit of an odd issue this late in the game when we're getting a lot of higher quality grapes. Speaking of finishing things up, I've been heading into the Skull Cavern every now and again, but it's pretty rough. Even on good dives, I still find only 1 or 2 pepper rexes. We'll keep it up. Here is the full custom bobber list, by the way. We'll be rolling with the star drop from now on. Took a few days, but the grapes have been inserted. And the next day, we get some raisins from it. So these can be used to give Junimos a chance of double harvesting, but we're a bit late to make too much use of that. Shipping log, done. So things have been a little chaotic, jumping back and forth on what needs to be finished, so here's a summary of everything that's left. We have the 1 green doll artifact, 1 book power as well as the spring onion mastery, 1 obelisk as well as the golden clock, the pepper rex slayer goal, 5 characters still need friendship, 3 crafting recipes, most of the cooking recipes, and then a handful of achievements, most of which will naturally be completed by doing the other tasks. So for that last leftover book, I did actually have to look it up. It's just sitting at the back of the Adventurers Guild. It's been available since we've defeated 1,000 monsters, and who knows when that was. It reduces the cost of the item recovery service.
just spring onions left on this list. One of the crafting recipes that was the most daunting was the Statue of Blessings, but after enough fiber farming, I can finally afford it. That's another random daily buff for us, although at this point, I don't really need it. Now for crafting recipes, all we have left is the oil of garlic and deluxe scarecrow. Turns out the last rare crow we needed was with the dwarf, and I didn't actually realize that the stone chests had a big version as well, so we grabbed that recipe. We got the deluxe scarecrow recipe the next morning. We can craft it and the big stone chest right away. Just oil of garlic left, but I'll have to grow some more garlic for it. The night of fall 23rd marks the announcement of our first baby, and I said yes because I thought Full House was an in-game achievement. It is not. Most things we have now are just an inch away from being finished except for this cooking list, so I've got to do something drastic. I scrolled through every single recipe and made a physical list of everything I need to cook them all. It is a long list, and I separated it into crops and fish. First up, I'm buying and planting all the crops I need, and I get straight to catching some of the fish I need. The next day, our garlic is ready, which means we can craft the oil of garlic. Craft Master is done. To help out with the dwarf, I'm going to give her the movie ticket. She likes every movie, so it's easy. And we needed to do that to get the 2 thumbs up achievement, one of the new achievements added in 1.6. Next, getting back to the cooking recipes, I'm going on a fishing trip to catch all of the fish I need. Salmon, shrimp, sardines, sea cucumber, largemouth bass, carp, a snail and crayfish, mayo and void mayo, periwinkles, flounder, tuna, and I'm grabbing some magic bait for the out-of-season fish. Yes, I'm that serious. We just need it for the sunfish of all things. Last, crab, lobster, and squid. All we're waiting for now are a few crops. And just fishing took so long that we are now in winter. So at this point, I really don't have too many daily things to do since we're really close to the end. So I'm going to be sleeping through a bunch of days on Ginger Island solely for making money. That's our farthest away goal at the moment. Every week or so, I'll pop out to give gifts to our last 3 NPCs and collect mystic syrup for treasure totems. By the first Sunday, I've made enough money to get our very last obelisk, the Island Obelisk. I also complete another quest for the raccoons. There's still a couple more to go. Our first baby has been born. We won't be able to get our second baby until this one's fully grown, but again, I don't actually need it. Although I thought I did. So after sleeping through a few weeks, I've acquired over 100 ladders. I would like to bang out one more Skull Cavern run to hopefully kill all the Pepper Rexes we need. I also waited until we got the +1 ore buff from the statue of the Dwarf King, and I slammed it. Luck was crazy. At one point, I got 2 treasure rooms in a row. I reached floor 250, but would you imagine it? Not a single Pepper Rex. Oof. Well, next day, all the crops I needed for cooking are ready, so if I calculated everything correctly, I should be able to cook everything in one go. I forgot to include 1 cheese. And done. I completed yet another raccoon quest, and I got a star drop tea for it. A little late, but I can probably still use it. It just happened to work out this way, but the dwarf, Jas, and Krobus, who we used the star drop tea on, all got maxed out on the same day. We've done a ton of work the last few weeks. I go to check out the perfection tracker to confirm our progress. Sure enough, all that's left is the golden clock, the Pepper Rex, and that darn green doll. Those are 3 very specific tasks, so what I like to do when I'm in the home stretch here is sell all items that I do not need. This will give us a good idea of where our money lies. Everything in the coop, everything from the greenhouse, the barn, and all of our chests. After everything is done, all that's left is some materials to dive in the Skull Cavern, and for the crafting recipe for treasure totems and some seeds. 1.2 million. A little more than 1/10 of our goal. That's not bad. I did save myself 5 iridium bars because we still need to upgrade our hoe to iridium. I already commissioned the art in the thumbnail, so it'd be a little weird if I didn't get it. So here's the method. I'm setting up all of the crystallariums in my Ginger Island house, and eventually I'll have enough staircases to force Pepper Rex spawns. I bought a stack of 999 starfruit seeds, and we'll see where that leaves us once they're all harvested. And then every 7 days, we'll head back to the regular farm to harvest mystic syrup for the treasure totems. Let's begin. Winter 19th, we got our iridium hoe. Our second year ended pretty quickly after starting this process, which means it's time for Grandpa to rate us. And it's a little overgrown to see well, but we did get all 4 candles, thus earning our Statue of Perfection. I also started sleeping at my regular house because I thought I had to if I wanted to have a baby, so just a slight change in our plans. I did have to take a slight detour every now and again. Partway through spring, I decided to knock out everything we had left for the polyculture achievement by selling 15 of every crop, and we finally achieved it near the end of spring. I also noticed that I didn't have Spring Onion Mastery yet despite having full friendship with everyone, so I head to Cindersap Forest to fix it. That's a full powers tab. At the very end of spring year 3, we have over 200 jade. I've decided that today, we'll try to defeat those Pepper Rexes. Luck was with us, finally. On floor 28, we had a prehistoric floor, and then finally, we got it. 2 tasks left. Since that went so well, I decided it's finally time we attempt the doll again. We have 24 treasure totems, and at this point, I'll need more moss to make more. I'm waiting on the green rain day to do that. I use them all up, and I do get a doll, but it's the wrong one. I'm so mad. I also noticed that I need to make an infinity weapon for an achievement. I already have the battle souls and cinder shards, but I think I sold my galaxy sword at some point. So I buy the galaxy dagger instead, and I forge it up. Easy enough. Green rain came on the 14th, and I made use of it. Now we can make some more attempts on the doll. While continuing to work through our treasure totems, we start to adopt our second child, but that doesn't mean I slow down. Again? 3? Is it even here? Seasons passed, but finally it happened. Keep in mind, this is the best possible way for us to hunt for a strange doll. It is a 0.08% chance from each artifact spot. There it is. A complete collection and the final star drop. Finally, I can spend my time relaxing and harvesting my starfruit. I can properly enjoy the birth of my daughter, Tostada. It warms my heart to see her play with Crunchwrap. It doesn't take long for us to earn the Legend achievement for earning 10 million gold. That is the last achievement we needed, so there's only one thing left. Wait, what? There's another achievement? Oh, I just had to go and visit the raccoons again. Now that's all of the achievements, which means there's only one thing left. The golden clock. I don't just farm for all my money, I swap back and forth between doing some skull cavern runs, using the parrot to get extra money, fishing using challenge bait, and all of that makes it a varied and enjoyable experience. Finally, we reach our final day of harvesting. The golden clock has been placed, and we have 100% perfection. Next day I head up to the summit to meet our husband at the peak. The journey is over. And might I just say, way more fun than a 1.5 perfection playthrough. If I were to give a summary of the experience, I'd probably say that the early game is a lot harder due to various nerfs and more things that you have to pay attention to, but then the end game is a lot easier due to many things such as having new money-making methods, the Star Drop Tea for making friends, and being able to make use of golden mystery boxes, for example, to get items that you would normally have a lot of trouble obtaining. I think I'm going to leave more specific discussion about the experience to be in a different video. We can talk about the positives and negatives, but like I said, overall, very positive run. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and good night.